Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome my friends and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. My name is Vincenzo and yes, I've got another pen review for you. What I think is a gorgeous pen. I think the Chinese have done it again and they're pushing the limits. And this pen certainly does, in my opinion. You see the several questions I ask in my intro video. And I think in the next few minutes, I hope to give you my point of view. And I welcome all comments as usual. So the pen that I have for you today is the Jinhao 9019. I think it's a gorgeous pen. I think it's got some novel ideas. I think it's a little bit of a change for Jinhao. What I propose that we go to my overhead camera, we take a closer look at this pen, and why I think it may very well be Jinhao's pen of the year. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're back with the pen. Here it is, folks. Where do I start? Well, let's look at the outer shell. First of all, yes, it's a classic cigar-shaped. And, you know, Jinhao has taken a lot of rap that in its X159, it looks, very familiar with just a very famous German-made pen, Mont Blanc, of course. But I think they're stepping away from that. This pen is, in my view, has a lot of touches that are very original. There's no déjà vu here, in my view. I've chosen this transparent version. It comes in different colors, different demo colors, and it comes in very solid colors as well. I believe it's dark blue. There's black. There may be also a burgundy there. I forget, but I don't believe that this looks like my Mont Blanc. We'll take a look at my Mont Blanc 149 in a second, and we'll take it from there. So let's take a closer look. First of all, really like this clip. Very nice clip. It's got a ball end right there. The inscription that I see on it is... actually, do I have it upside down here? It's difficult for me to read. I'm wondering whether it's in some... there appears to be a number there, but it doesn't seem to correspond to anything. I'll get back to you just to let you know whether or not... Oh, I see. It's Jinhao. Sorry. It's just Jinhao. I was just looking at it the wrong way. It's just an inscription, Jinhao, right there. So that's a nice touch. I think the clip is very stiff, but it's got a nice touch to it. I like this band. What you see on this band is Jinhao, right there, the name Jinhao, and then the name, which is Dadao. So it's the Jinhao Dadao. Very, very nice. It's got some very nice girth, okay? Now, in terms of the exterior, let's compare it to a few pens, and we'll take a closer look, and I give you my point of view on this. Okay, what I've got here, I believe that this Jinhao 9019, this latest version, can be categorized as an evolution from various previous versions, and at the same time, in my view, is a revolution. And let me explain. First of all, we all started with this 159, very bulky. I remember purchasing almost every conceivable color because they were going like for $2-3 at the time. A huge, that very typical Jinhao clip, very heavy. It's all metal, and the nibs in these things, I don't even have one here, were just awful. Okay, at the very outset, but it was a pen that resembled the Mont Blanc, and it was going for $2 or $3, and it came in all conceivable colors. and not transparent because they were all in metal. So that was the 159. Recently, we saw Jinhao step up its game with the X159. This is made out of resin, and it's a beautiful resin. Let me just, so that my camera cooperates here. We've got the Jinhao band here. And by the way, when we compare it to the 9019, you can see that it's much smaller. Okay, just an ordinary clip there, and does resemble the 149, which is right next to it. Here it is. One would say déjà vu. Oh, absolutely. The bands are different, but we can see where the similarities and the criticisms were maybe justified. The beauty of this X159, one, we stepped away from that ugly metal pen, in my view, and they've really stepped up their game with their nibs. Their nibs, even before this one, which is that beautiful size 8 nib, okay, which I think is just fabulous. Okay, first of all, it matches perfectly with the pen, and I think it's a real upgrade from the previous nibs, or the ordinary, number 6 nibs, which, by the way, have come a long way, which are just, whether it's fine or medium. I prefer the medium. I think they're juicy, smooth nibs compared to what Jinhao was doing right at the outset. But what I find is that it is a revolution. So not only has it stepped up its game, in my view, because the comparison is no longer easy one to make here. I think it's completely unjustified to compare the Mont Blanc at this stage with the 9019. There are many cigar-shaped pens out there, and it's not because it has a cigar shape that we're going to say it's a Mont Blanc fake. The design is very, very different, and let me explain. I think that this very girthy cap, which steps down considerably, distinguishes it. The band is very different. The clip is very different. It does not have a band at the bottom finial. When you open this up, there's that beautiful size 8 nib, which I think is just fabulous. And, at the price that this pen goes for, to have a juicy nib like that, I thank you, Jinhao. Thank you, Jinhao. So I think it's a step up. I think this is not a déjà vu. And frankly, unless they, between now and December, come up with some other pen, in my view, this will be Jinhao's pen of the year. And I've put in an order for many other colors because I think this pen deserves the praise that many are giving it, and especially the nib. Where I talk about revolution, well, it's a revolution because I think Jinhao is now stepping up its game to the extent that it's got its own independent designs. It doesn't need to copy anymore. That's what I mean. It stepped up its game with that nib, and even with the number 6 nibs. And look at this, folks. First of all, just the way this, the turns, look at that. It's just very well done, very well done. But look at that oversized converter. Look, somebody may correct me on this, but I think this is a first. I don't believe that I've seen a converter, an oversized converter like that, in any other pen. It's a big converter compared to your regular converters. If you take a look at the Jinhao X159s, okay, when you compare it, there's no comparison. Take a look at that. You could tell that we're talking about significantly larger converter, okay? Very big bottom part here, okay, where your fingers are. Make this pen a really, really juicy and very interesting pen. and we'll take a look at the writing sample in a few minutes. In terms of the way this pen is made, I can tell you that I'm having problems with my camera, but here we go. Very thick resin, so the resin is quality, and just the feel of the resin in your hand, you can tell we're talking quality here. Very nice. I've not been able to use this pen sufficiently long time to be able to comment on whether or not it seals the nib properly so that it stays wet for an extended period of time. We'll test this pen. It's now been sitting for 2 or 3 days, if not more. We'll take a look at and see how it performs in our writing sample. So let's put it all back together. So for all of those reasons, I believe that this pen is indeed constitutes evolution and revolution at the same time, and it's certainly not a déjà vu. That's my view, and I'm sticking to it. So there you go. Now, I'll be right back and provide you with a size comparison. Okay, here's a size comparison. So here is my Jinhao 9019, my Dadao. When you compare it to the 149, slightly longer, and certainly girthier than my 149, and girthier than my 159 and my X159. Compared to my Opus, the Opus 88 Demo is slightly longer. The Opus 88 Bella is slightly longer, and it is it is slightly longer than my Santini Italia pen, and certainly much bigger than the Jinhao 100. And the Jinhao 100 is, in my view, a nice sized pen. And when you just put it against the Jinhao 9019, you can see the huge difference, both in girth and length. So this, to me, maybe I'm biased, is my ideal pen. I mean, it is, besides being big, it is so comfortable. Does it post? It posts very securely and deeply. Does it weigh the pen? Slightly. It makes it a huge pen in my view, but comfortable. For those of you who enjoy posting, I believe this is comfortable. I don't think you need to, and as you all know, I don't like to post my pens. Look how big it is. I mean, this is, and the feel, it's just on your fingertips, it's just perfect. So congrats, Jinhao. I'm very, very happy, and I'm going to be very happy ordering 3, 4, probably all of the colors in this collection. They're going for $15, $16 Canadian or US. I mean, it's a steal in my view. It's a real steal. If they ever make a stub nib, my God, then in my view, they'll be in my game. That's for sure. So what I propose is that we take a look at the writing sample and see if all of my praise is justified. So we're back for my writing sample. The ink that I've picked for this pen is the Ruby Red by Kaweco, and I think this red ink just goes perfectly. Even just looking at the color, it mimics so nicely that red demo look of the pen. So you know what? I think this ink will just be just fine for our writing sample. That's the ink. Now I've got it on super close up, so my apologies. The notebook or journal that I'm using is a notebook that has Tomoe River. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I know I've been corrected on numerous occasions that I don't pronounce, especially Japanese brand names correctly. And I can understand the frustration of some of you, and you're absolutely right to point it out. I'm Italian and I speak fluent Italian, and when I see other reviewers just botch up Italian pens or Italian brand names, it gets me going as well. So I can understand that, and I apologize. No harm was intended, but maybe harm was caused, unjustifiably so, because I should have just taken the time to properly understand the pronunciation. So it's my understanding it's Tomoe River paper. So that's what I'm using from a company by the name of Wonderland 22. This is the Wonder Planner. You can find this notebook on Etsy. Expensive to ship for some reason, at least here in Montreal, Canada. Perhaps less expensive elsewhere in the world, but I think worth every penny. It kind of mimics the Obonichi without having all the extraneous inclusions on the pages. It just has the numbers on the side, and it has a blank to put in your dates. I think this journal, besides its paper, good size, it's an A5, it writes beautifully, and I thought that this pen deserves the best paper possible. So that's the journal, that's the paper. Let's start the writing sample. Okay, like I said, I'm going cold here. I have not used this pen in the last, I would say 4 to 5 days. So if it has some heart start, you'll understand why. Look at that. No heart start. Jinhao 9019. Dadao. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. If I'm not, please correct me. I really want to give it, I really want to not make any more mistakes when it comes to the Japanese, so I welcome every comment. The nib on this pen is a Jinhao size number 8 nib, and it's a medium. Go. In terms of its performance, very little line variation, but it's a gusher, as you can see. It's extremely smooth and constant. No problems there. Just a line. Even fast writing, you'll have no problem whatsoever. So, in terms of the nib, it is smooth. It is constant and wet. Very, very nice. Very nice. It gives the pen the character that it deserves. With this ink, this Kaweco Ruby Red, just a fabulous combination, I think. So I think you folks will probably predict or anticipate my rating of this pen. In terms of its design, as I mentioned, it's evolution and revolution, and in my view, this is Jinhao's pen of the year, and I'm giving it a 10 on 10. In terms of its build quality, I was not able to find any flagrant faux pas in this pen. I'm going to give it a 10 on 10. It deserves every praise. In terms of the nib, this juicy, large nib is going to get a 10 on 10 for me. They have come a long way. It's evolution and revolution, once again, in my view. In terms of value, yes, You have the Montegrappas, the Viscontis, the Leonardo Officinas, the Conway Stewarts. You have the Mont Blancs. You have the Scribble. You have the Sailors. You have the, pilots. You have all kinds of pens out there that cost you $300, $400, $1,000, $2,000, $4,000, $5,000. This thing costs you $15. In terms of value, folks, it's 10 on 10. And I don't think anybody can now accuse them of having copied anybody else. Is it a go-to pen? Well, of course it is. It's a 10 on 10, folks. So as far as I'm concerned, this is Jinhao's Pen of the Year. And I will do a Pen of the Year contest at the end of the year. And I can't see, unless there's some major pens are going to be coming out in the next 4, 5, 6 months, I can't see why this pen will not be one of my runners-up. Pen of the Year. Thank you very much, folks. I hope you appreciate my enthusiasm for this pen. Take a look at it. The price is reasonable. Enjoy it. Will you have the same point of view? Perhaps not, but that's my point of view. And I welcome all your comments. Maybe you found something you don't like about this pen. Let me know. Let me know. Share. Fountain therapy for all, folks. Have a great day.